Yo, what's going on, Nomads and Drifting Podcast listeners? I'm Brian.
And I'm Monica.
And welcome to the Backspace Nomads podcast, where we share our nerd for gaming, movies, and all the dork in between. On today's podcast, we're talking about real-life counterparts for the worst problems in gaming, and we're previewing God of War. All right, it's April 16th. This is episode 55 of the podcast. Let's start the show. Well, Monica, how has your week been?
It's been really great. Yeah, I McDonald's worker put an insect into my drink, and I know they did it on purpose.
Are you sure, Farva? Did they put an insect in your drink?
They did. I know that they did it on purpose.
Why?
It was like a social battle, like a social like, I don't know how to explain it.
Duel.
It was a game in real life. I was not in the driver's seat. Mm-hmm. I ordered a large latte, iced latte. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't see the screen that they typed the order onto, and they put in small. And then when we got to the window, my friend took the drink. She goes, "Oh no, this was supposed to be large." And they're like, "Oh no, you ordered a small." And I was like, "Well, I wanted a large." And the girl goes, "Well, you're going to have to pull up then." And I look at my receipt after we pull up, and I see that on the receipt, it says small.
Yeah.
And I go, man, maybe I should go in there and pay for the large, because I'm sure that they think that I messed up, not that they didn't mess up.
Yeah.
And then I said, "They're going to spit in my drink. They're going to spit in it." And my friend agreed. She goes, "They're definitely going to spit in your drink." Yeah. And I said, "You know what? I'm okay with that. I don't care. I don't care. I probably had spit in before, so it's fine." And we're waiting there. It takes like 7 minutes for them to come out with this drink. I actually started walking up, and that's when they came out with the drink. And they're like, "Here you go." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you." And as I'm drinking it, I get halfway, and there's a fucking bug in it.
Oh, it's so gross.
I know that they did it. I knew. I could just tell in her eyes. I could see in her eyes that she was dueling me, and that she was the end boss of this drive-through experience. Yeah. And she fucking took me out.
She just had like the gotcha look on her face, like,
she's like, "Oh, I'll get you a large. Just pull right on up." Yeah, for sure. It was horrifying.
What kind of bug was it? Like a little gnat fly, or?
No, it was like a beetle.
Oh. Ew, she probably brought it from home.
I think they took 7 minutes to source that thing from like the back lawn, you know? I think that's why I was waiting for so long.
Did you take a picture?
No, I just drank it.
I mean, it's protein.
Yeah, that's what my friend said. She's like, "It's protein." I mean, I didn't drink the bug, but
you should have tweeted at McDonald's about it. You got a social platform.
Oh my gosh, I am not going to do that. I'm not that person. You know what? Actually, I have done things like that before. Mm-hmm. I took a photo of the sad, sorry schmear of avocado that Jimmy John's put on. I paid extra for extra avocado, and it looked like they'd wiped their ass with it after like a good solid 2 wipings prior. And I took a photo, and I was like, "How is this extra?" or whatever. I tell you what, Jimmy John's has a fan base, and I was accosted by Jimmy John fans on Facebook for like a solid 2 weeks. It turned into a whole flare battle. We just started talking about each other's moms. It was like it got gnarly. So after that, I'm like, I think I'm retiring from trying to get companies in trouble.
That's why I don't eat avocados. The avocado gang out there is just telling too much.
Yeah. These are battles that are tough to fight, you know, like I might be able to manage certain bosses in games, but in real life, it's just really exhausting and kind of emotionally draining, you know?
I did it with Wawa Coffee once. I totally got a manager in trouble, but I got like a free $20 gift card for Wawa.
Nice.
I kept going in, and all their coffee was out when I was going in before work. And one day I was like, "What's going on with your international drive location, Wawa? Why are they always out of coffee when I go in there?" And they contacted me, and I got some gift card, and coffee was always there after that.
Apparently, when I have a problem, people just put bugs in my drink or have an entire internet fan base attack me. So I don't know. It doesn't seem to work out for me. But yeah, outside of that, I played some more Nino Cooney and
Ooh.
almost rage quit. I don't know how you rage quit such a sweet, innocent little game, but it happened. I had to make friends in the game.
That's when you rage quit?
Yeah.
How dare they? I want to play this game by myself with myself.
I mean, I'm playing as a king, and yes, I'm a young king, but I just don't understand why I'm an errand runner. It just seems like everyone has errands for me to run, and they're so lame. It's like, bring this pasta to my friend. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. I'm a king. That seems like a reasonable request for someone like me.
Yeah.
And you know, the game, it's really trying to hit home that I got to build this kingdom up, and the only way you can do that is by doing menial tasks. And so I had to make multiple friends, and it was rage inducing. So yeah, I didn't want to make friends. I never tried to win any popularity contests when I was in high school. You know what I mean?
So if I asked you to run some pasta to a bud of mine, you'd have a problem with this in real life?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
You're no king, Monica. You're not fit to be king.
I'm not fit to be king. I know. I am just a
morally
serf.
bankrupt.
I'm a serf. I'm just, let me just clean the shit out of your horse's hooves. I'm just happy right then and there, but don't ask me to bring that pasta to your friend, all right?
I hope all like the Nino Cooney fans just like blow you up on Facebook now for a couple of months.
They probably will. This is my life. The game itself is, please don't attack me, is great. But this one element of the game that I'm in right now, where I am forced to make people like me by doing a lot of things I don't want to do for them, it just seems very one-sided. Now, granted, I am asking them to uproot their entire lives and move to my kingdom.
Yeah. And live under you in servitude for the rest of their life without a democracy.
I just don't think I should have to deliver pasta for that.
I think that's the least you could do, honestly. If anything, you might be able to reheat it for them. Oh no, I was just stopping at the delivery.
I don't know. Maybe I was being too harsh. I just didn't want to make friends. I only wanted to continue. I wanted to continue with the main storyline. Friend making is not good for me, okay? But enough with my my personal problems. How was your week, Brian?
Well, I haven't had problems making friends. In fact, I've been watching Netflix's Lost in Space, which for some ungodly reason, when I brought this up to you before, you had no idea what Lost in Space was.
I didn't know what it was. Whatever. It's not an ungodly reason. It
is. That's a classic show. Like in the classic TV, there's like I Love Lucy. And then there's like Lost in Space. Like it's one of those shows.
That's not the same.
Yes, it is.
Is it really?
It's one of those shows. It's like Gilligan's Island, I Love Lucy, Star Trek, like Lost in Space. It's one of those big ones.
I don't understand. I don't know why I don't know it.
I don't know either. Like Danger Will Robinson's is like one of the all-time classic lines.
Do they use any bad language in the show? Because there's a good chance I wasn't allowed to watch it if there was anything.
No. This is like back from like the 50s, like the early days of space exploration where like everyone was like wearing the silver astronaut suits because that's what we were going to do in outer space is look like tinfoil puppets.
Man, no, like, I don't know. I don't know why I don't know this.
Like it was like the family was so adorable. They were like the old school nuclear family, like the husband who just knows what to do and the wife who's just going to take care of the family in space and cook space dinners all the time. Like it's like Leave It to Beaver in outer space, right?
Yeah, it sounds nice.
Except they go on adventures because it's kind of like Star Trek. They're going, and then they have a robot. There's this guy named Dr. Smith, and like he's not an honest person. Like he's not really a doctor. He's like lying. How do you not know about this show? Anyway,
I don't know.
Netflix took it upon themselves to make a remake of the show. And it is fantastic. I don't know the budget Netflix has, but I can't believe that these shows that are coming out look like movies. They look like outer space movies. The action scenes of them are just comets are crashing all over. Spaceships are ripping apart. I'm in love with the show. I can't stop watching it. I did like 3 episodes in one evening, and I know that doesn't sound like a lot for all the young kids out there, but when you're an adult and you got a lot of work to do, you pack 3 episodes of a show one evening.
You're going crazy.
Yeah, that's a binge.
Like a night out in Vegas.
Like, you know, with the second episode, and your partner goes, "You want to watch another?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's midnight.
Yeah,
I don't know if we can fit it in here."
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm a big space nerd. Like, it's the biggest. I'm from Florida. I'm all about NASA and stuff.
Do you think
I've
everyone from Florida is a space nerd?
In one way or the other.
Are they either a space nerd or just into crime?
Or, you know, bath salts.
Yeah.
It's one of the two.
I was gonna say, so you're like, I'm from Florida, so I'm a space nerd. I'm like, I feel like other people in Florida don't have such diverse interests.
I would say, like, in Central Florida, everyone's a pretty good space nerd.
Okay.
Because you are, like, able to catch, like, launches. Like, sometimes you'll just look up and, like, oh, look, there's a satellite just rocketing off into space because it's a Tuesday night.
All
it's
right.
cool. Like, it's
That's
like,
fair.
Yeah, you know, we have a lot of test facilities here. Lockheed Martin has a big feel. Like, there's a lot of aeronautical space stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Don't attack Central Florida like this.
I'm just wondering.
Okay. I would say, like Roswell has all the alien freaks, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Central Florida is kind of like that, you know?
Okay.
So if you're, you know, if you're looking for something to watch, Monica, catch up on some Lost in Space.
Okay.
You're going to love it. There's a robot in there. He's amazing.
Okay. I love robots
too. This is a good one. All right, let's get into the show for the day. The first thing we're going to be doing on the show, we had this weird idea because there's a lot of things that kind of suck in gaming right now. And like, there's always been things that sucked in gaming, right? This isn't a perfect hobby to have. But lately, there's just like more and more spilling over. And like, you know, how are they spilling over into real life? So like, what are good analogies for the things that suck in gaming? And so I think the first thing we talked about, like, starting off was, what about loot boxes?
Well, also, there's just, I swear to God, if you look up gaming news ever, it just seems like there's always an article about loot boxes. Like, we've talked about it on this show.
It's the best clickbait ever.
At least a couple of times. It's problematic, and it's attention grabbing, and people seem to be upset about it, but no one seems to know what to do with it. But loot boxes are definitely something that suck in gaming. I mean, they're just getting a lot of negative attention. There have been rings recently that have been fined because they were advertising that the loot box itself was if you got these 3, you could purchase in, I forget what game it was, but you can purchase in, and, you know, if you get 3 of these different types of loot boxes, then you get this big prize. And they didn't advertise that one of the loot boxes was almost impossible to get. They didn't say anything like that. They didn't document it. So they got this huge fine. It was about $1 million fine.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is, like, now they got caught for that. But loot boxes in general just aren't that great.
They're icky. They don't make you feel good. Like, they'll make you feel good, like, you know, 0.03% of the time.
Right.
And then, like, everything else, you're like, oh, cool. Another skin I already have. Thank you. That's amazing.
Right. So the idea is that you pay money and you are going to go out and you're hoping that you're going to get something good. And loot boxes are like dating services. Like the outside of gaming equivalent to loot boxes are like dating services, I would say.
I would agree with that. Like, you know, I'm not one for the dating scene, but I do know the few I've been on, it is like, well, I guess I'll go on this date. I'll pay a bunch of money for it. And I don't know, maybe there's a 0.05% chance I'm going to get laid. That'd be cool. Maybe that's a little low for everyone else, but, you know.
Yeah, I guess I'm not even coming at dating that way. It's just like, it's just like there's a 0.05% chance that this is going to be interesting, or that the person is really who they are, like, advertising themselves as.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Also, you know, so many of the photos that you see initially are filtered, and like, you know, it's just, you end up meeting up with somebody who just looks like not who you were expecting. And you basically you go out, you pay the money, you open the loot box, and it's like, what? That's not what I thought was going to happen, you know?
Were these pictures from 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Was that okay?
No wonder you looked so young and not 85.
Who are you dating?
Yeah. I don't know. The loot boxes in real life haven't been very good to me.
You're playing the wrong game. I don't know what services you're on, but like, I think the next one for me, it kind of hits a little close to home because I stream so much. And stream sniping. Stream sniping is probably one of the worst things I experience in gaming. And people are like, "Oh, you're just blown out of proportion." It's like, no, you know exactly when it's happening. You can feel it. You're like, "How's this guy know I'm over here?" And he's just like running directly at me when I haven't made any noise.
Yeah.
And I think the best real life equivalent I could come up with would be streaking in a sporting event. The stream sniper is jumping onto the pitch or the football field and running naked because he wants to be the star of the show, while everyone else is just trying to play the game and entertain everybody.
And there might be a few chuckles. There might be a haha, you got me.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's really disappointing. I don't even know. Is it like streaking? Because at least people typically laugh or like, oh my gosh, or there's some type. It's like streaking, but having like a really offensive looking body.
I thought you were going to say penis.
I almost did.
You should have. I mean, there's definitely some people who get a giggle out of stream snipers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Yes, that's
it's
true.
like streaking. Like, there's people sitting there who are like, that guy's amazing. He's going streaking. And then there's other people who are like, God dang it. Like that was the last pitch of the inning. That was the moment. And now like this dude's brains are just hanging out all over TV.
Yeah. Okay. I gotcha. One of the things that I dealt with a lot in the past, I would say couple of years of gaming with different games was hackers. Specifically, it seemed like most of the hackers were either Russian or just the ultimate of the ultimate, the Chinese hackers.
I knew you were going to say Chinese.
Chinese hackers are on the next level. They aren't just comfortable hacking and ruining the gaming experience for everyone. They also have to run around screaming things like China #1, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I can't tell you how many things I have heard. Pretty much, though, if I could summarize, I would say the large percentage would be along to China #1 and fuck you. Yeah. But I feel like Chinese hackers are exploiting, right? They're creating, they're using elements of a game or just straight up hacking a game in order to get an advantage over people that are just trying to have a nice, decent time in life, in the game. And I would say that Chinese hackers are the equivalent of pickup artists. They have taken they have changed an element of life into, or in this particular case, game, into an exploit. Sure. They are utilizing things that aren't supposed to be utilized in order to gain a one-up on just innocent individuals who are just trying to have an authentic experience.
They just want an organic experience at the bar, and the Chinese hacker is coming along and giving the hard nag and making you feel bad about yourself. Do that as the pickup artist is 100% the Chinese hackers.
Yep.
Have you ever seen a pickup artist in action, like at the bar? Because I don't think I ever have.
Yes, it's happened to me. And
really?
Yep. This was a very long time ago, but it did happen to me. I was out with a group of friends. This was right after the show came out, which was, I think, just called Pickup Artist. And so it was just all over television and
mystery.
Yeah, with mystery. And this guy came up to, and I was out with a couple of girlfriends and a guy that I was friendly with.
Mhm.
And this guy came up and started talking to us, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, we're just hanging out. Like we're here just to hang out." And he goes, "Oh, you're the bitchy one, huh?" And I'm like, "What?"
Your bitchy spice?
I was so confused. I was like, "What? What do you mean?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not trying to be rude to you. I just am with." And he goes, "Is your hair even real?" And I'm like, "What? What do you?" I mean, I had very long hair at the time,
Yeah.
and he goes, "I bet you those are extensions."
Oh my
And I
god.
go, I'm like, "Well, they're not, and you can definitely go away now. You can definitely leave us alone now." And he just reaches out and pulls my hair.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. And I
Did you go home with
stood.
them?
No, oh
Oh.
yeah, dude. My first 3 children were with that
How'd you thwart the advances? How'd you do this?
guy. No, I actually stood up out of my chair and started yelling at him. And then he was like, "I'm so sorry. It's just a tactic." And I'm like, "What?" I'm not joking. And then I went over to the guy that I was with. He was at the bar getting us drinks. And I was just
Yeah.
like, "That guy just came up and pulled my hair." And then it goes on from there.
Yeah,
We don't
okay.
need to. But yes, I've experienced both pickup artists and Chinese hackers. And I can say that they leave you with the same sense of like, why?
Yeah.
What is going on here?
Oh, it's so gross. They didn't cover this part on TV. It's just a tactic, bro. Uh,
Yeah, they didn't cover when the girl was going to stand up and start yelling at me.
Yeah.
Please stop.
Mystery help. Okay. I think the next thing I came up with, the thing I hate probably the most in gaming right now would be paywalls. I can't stand a game with paywalls. Like you buy a game, you go out there, you use your hard-earned money, you get yourself a nice little $60 game, you sit down, you put it in, and then come to find out if you want to play all the characters, you have to shove out another $20. And if you want all the maps, you have to shove out another $30. And this is all on the first day of the game. This isn't like downloadable content 6 to 8 months later. It's like day one paywall. It's got to stop. Like they're just teasing you a little bit with just here's the basic game, baby. Here's just a little taste of it. Oh, do you want a little bit more of the heroin? Oh, you're gonna have to pay for that stuff. Addictive substances are what paywalls are. Like they are doing what drug dealers have done from like the 1950s on. They got this down to a T. They read all like the manuals and stuff, all the pimps. Like they've read it. These game developers know what they're doing now, and they are just drug dealers.
I mean, there are a lot of studies out there that talk about the addictiveness of games. We've definitely had guests on the show that have talked about how they have had times where they were spending countless hours and really consumed by games. And, I would agree with you because I personally have fallen prey.
Oh, no.
We
Monica,
know this.
This isn't a podcast. This is an intervention.
I know. Oh no. No, it's happened to me though. I mean, we talked about it. It's like it's basically documented in this podcast when I started playing Game of War, that stupid mobile game, and ended up like actually investing way too much money into it. And but at that time, there was someone that had spent over $1 million themselves on Game of War. People were extorting money from their companies to spend it on Game of War. It's sick. So
I love that though.
Yeah, it's true. It was really happening. And I think that
Hearthstone did to me. Like Hearthstone literally did to me, where it's like, here's the basic card game. You can win if you're good enough. No, you can't. You can't beat these like massive decks that have $100 like put into them. You can't do it.
Yeah.
So I got taken with Hearthstone, just like you with like Game of War.
You're like, well, I'll just get one pack.
Yeah, that's how it happened. That's how it started.
Well, maybe another. Like, it's only $3.
If I buy 3 packs at a time, there's a discount.
Mm-hmm.
If I buy 20 packs at a time, there's even more of a discount. Well, I mean, I guess if I eat ramen for this week, then I can buy the whole card deck just outright, and I don't even have to worry about it. And I can just play.
Yeah. So our listeners wouldn't have been able to see this, but I suddenly my neck started itching. And I think it was the addictive qualities of even this conversation. I'm like, oh, paywalls, ow.
You're like reaching for your cell phone, just itching at it, trying to get work.
Where's Game of War? Where is it? All right. So one more. And this one I think is a funny one. In games, you oftentimes, I mean, I was kind of complaining about this earlier. You have to help characters, right? Like you go and you give pasta and you whatever. But beyond having to deliver pasta, or beyond having to go find someone's loved one, or beyond a mule being slaughtered as just a trader was trying to bring it along, and you got to go get his equipment for him that was stolen. You have the people, NPCs, that have to go along with you in the game. You have to chaperone them, chaperone quests, where these people aren't just happy enough saying, hey, help me. They're like, let me tag along. And by the way, I walk as fast as a sloth. I move at a snail's pace, and you may be able to run, but the fastest I'll do is I'll pump my arms up and down, and I'll do a slow, like power walking mom type of jog, you know? That's like, I'll get my weights in my hands, those 5-pounders, and I'll just do a little jog behind you. And but don't go too far, because then you won't know where I went, or I'll just stop. I won't move with you.
The quest is gonna fail.
Yeah. And I don't know. This one's hard to come up with a analogy for. But I think that the best analogy here are team projects. Like when you're in school and you have a group of people that you're working with.
Yeah.
And the only thing these fuckers are doing is slowing you down. They are just dragging you down. You're like, I could have just completed this project by now, but I have to wait on you because I am the only productive one.
This is embarrassing. I have one massive team project thing in my life. It's when I was in college, right? And there was a big thing. I was the chaperoned NPC. I was the first.
You were not.
Yeah, I was. And I remember very specifically at this one point, because there's this one like girl who just like took over the whole thing. She didn't like, if you look at me, I don't look like a very smart, responsible person. So like I checked out. I was like, yeah, okay. If you don't want me to do stuff, I'm not going to do it. And I would show up at like our team meetings and stuff, or group meetings, and like I wouldn't even bring my laptop to like work on stuff. I would just be there like with a coffee, just hanging out, talking to the rest of the team. Like,
oh my gosh.
The chaperone. I was the NPC.
You
I'm
were.
so sorry.
Yeah, you should be sorry. You make the quest horrible. You make the quest horrible. There's no amount of pre-written words that you can come up with that are going to make this communication better. Like, or the chaperone characters. Yeah, I was definitely on the other end. I normally ended up being the one that was just like, I did all of this. These people should fail. And the professor would just be like, but it was a team project. So you're actually going to fail too, because you didn't work with anybody in my life. And it's similar to in game, because when someone's running really slow, I'll just be like, no, I'm out of here. And I'll try to run really far ahead of them. And then this has happened to me in multiple games. Sometimes the NPCs will just stop.
Yeah.
And they won't, if you go too far ahead, they just won't follow you. And then I turn around, I'm like, what in the world? Where are you guys?
Wasn't The Witcher like horrible for this type of stuff?
Yeah. The Witcher was the one I'm actually thinking of predominantly, but it does happen with others as well.
Why would they do that to you? It's your
favorite
favorite series.
It's painful. But yeah, that's our analogies that suck in gaming.
Yes.
I'm sure that there are many more, but this is a good batch to start off with.
That's a good little list to put together. So it's ridiculous. Let's move on to the next segment for the night. God of War is coming out, Monica.
I know. You think I don't know that?
I don't know. Do you?
Let me tell you. Well, why don't you tell us what God of War is first, and then I'll tell you a little story about this release.
God of War is developed by SIE Santa Monica Studios and published by Sony Interactive. The game is releasing to the PS4 on April 20th, 2018. It has 8 games inside of its franchise, starting with the twin titled God of War, that was released in 2005. The new release is a departure from the previous titles. It takes the anti-hero and the main character Kratos away from the franchise's iconic Greek mythology and places him and his newly found son Atreus into the world of Nordic mythology. I don't know. You talk about God of War maybe 2 times during these 55 podcast episodes.
2 times?
Yeah, it feels like it, right? No, am I cutting that short?
Are you kidding me? I'm starting to get angry. I feel you are trolling
Yeah.
me. Ugh.
All right. Like, relax over there, Kratos.
I can't. That's my man. Just kidding.
You are one of the biggest Kratos fans I've ever met in life.
I really am. I think he's a really complex character. He's also a piece of shit, but that's, it makes him complex. So this game you said April 20th. That's very kind of you. Let's be real here. It's coming out on 4/20. All right. And so I have tried to slip. I have tried to slip 420 Blaze into pretty much any conversation that I've had recently with other gaming friends. And I'll just be like, yeah, God of War's coming out, 420 Blaze it. And then I'll just continue with the conversation and just to see how far I can go. I have gotten through it a few times without anyone noticing. So it's just another game within a game in my life for me.
Yeah.
Am I a sad person?
Sad?
I don't feel sad, so it's good.
It's exciting.
But I am very, very, very excited for this. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of the franchise. I know I talk about it a lot. I can't help it. But now I get to talk about it purposefully because it's a huge game coming out. He's iconic. He's iconic.
I love him. And this game, the first one came out in 2005. Mm-hmm. I have some of my fondest gaming memories beating all these games with my buddies. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like sitting around eating, drinking beer, eating pizza. All right, I wasn't drinking beer in 2005. All right, everyone. And playing God of War, and beating the it is just so fun. The original play style. It's kind of after Devil May Cry, everyone kind of started doing that combat system, and I think what the God of War franchise did was kind of take that system and almost perfect it. Yeah. And really found out what was fun about the combo system. And just from every release I've played of it, it's been a blast.
It was also considered such a violent game at the time, and it really is. But I love a good bit of gore in video games, and I felt like this was a good balance of storyline alongside really just being able to rip things heads off and slice them off everything. It was just so fulfilling. It
was. You're going up against an 8-headed snake ripping off every one of its heads.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You weren't doing that in gaming yet.
Yeah, and the Greek mythology aspect of it, I've just always been interested in Greek mythology. It's just so weird, sometimes perverse, and it's just been it's definitely an interesting element to the game. God of War 2, when God of War 2 came out, I was so excited, and I didn't really at any time I didn't really talk a lot about gaming, but I ended up mentioning it to someone that I worked with, and my boss was nearby, and he's like, "You play video games?" And I kind of got shy, and I was like, "Yeah, I really like them." And he's like, "You like God of War?" I like God of War. And what ended up with that is not only did I love that game, I ended up dating my boss for 2 years. So thanks, God of War. Yeah.
It's so romantic.
Yeah, it was. It really was. It started a conversation with him, and I never played any of the PSP games, so I need to put that out there. But I bought my PS3 to play God of War 3.
Okay.
I bought it to play God of War 3. I waited to get my PS3 to get it. And the opening scene in that game where the Titans are Gaia and Kratos are climbing Mount Olympus.
Yeah.
Take me back. No, really. Really.
420 Blaze it.
420 Blaze it. It hurt. to watch it, it was so good.
Yeah.
It was just the coolest opening to a game that I think I had ever experienced up until that point. And I am very, very excited that they are bringing him back. And I'm very excited that we get to see a new chapter in this kind of, you said anti-hero. He is an anti-hero, but he is a dastardly character. He is truly at certain times evil, but also oddly relatable.
Well, he embodies like the chaotic good role, right? From D&D, we all know from RPGs. Like he's only in it for himself, really, right? And it's
Mhm.
like the ends will justify the means, and he will do whatever he needs to get it done. And that really leads to some bad situations. Like if you slight him, he's gonna stop at nothing and kill as many innocent people as he has to make sure he gets his revenge on you. Like it is such a good character and like cathartic almost to be able to play someone like that in video games.
Yeah.
Uh,
Definitely should, nowadays would probably be heavily medicated if he were
yeah.
just a human in real life. Not
Well,
a good personality to really have, but he's relatable. I really feel like he's relatable. There's always this element where when you've been slighted or something's happened where you feel protective of yourself. And he just takes it to this extent where he's killing gods and hundreds of thousands of people and really everything.
well, let's
Um,
use this. Let's transition to talking a little bit about like some of the changes that God of War series is going into, right? And this is a good starting off point because he's no longer the only in it for himself, rootin' tootin' Kratos. He's got a son now. Apparently, like boning everyone in the known Greek mythology is gonna have eventually gonna give you a kid. Um, so now we go from this like goatee wearing Kratos who doesn't care about anything, and now he's got a son Atreus who's bopping along with him. He's kind of Papa Kratos now. He's got a beard growing out. There's a lot of gray hair going on there. What do you think it means for the character of Kratos? He's gonna have his little kid tagging along.
So it's interesting because in any of the trailers that have come out, you can see a slight the traces of tenderness,
Yeah.
but it's not overtly caring. His nature
Okay.
is not overtly caring. I feel like he wants the best for this child. He wants this child to learn and take care of himself. But
Yeah.
granted, this is a man that hasn't really been able to learn much or take care of himself in general. And it sounds like in the beginning, over the many years, Kratos has spent a lot of time in solitude.
Yeah.
Has not done a lot of, whatever introspection has happened in that time. It hasn't truly changed him, but it seems like he wants to do better for this child.
Yeah.
This is not I had a child, I have had a rude awakening, I am now going to be the greatest dad of all time. This is I'm going to take this responsibility on. Oh God, how? Oh God, what have I done?
Yeah.
Who am I? Why am I saying, oh God? I have literally killed all of them.
There's none left. Now I'm
There's
gonna
none
raise this kid
left.
by myself. It definitely seems like he has like a sense of duty to this kid, He doesn't outright, but like he's his dad. He's got a responsibility and he's gonna raise this kid to be the most God-killing child you've ever seen in a video game. And I don't know. I think it's interesting. I'm ready to see what the child aspect comes because he's actually like a usable character where he's like shooting while Kratos is fighting. He's shooting arrows at everybody. You can like teach him how to do stuff. Uh, and again, we talked about earlier, like a couple podcasts ago, like damsels in gaming. Now the
Mm-hmm.
damsels are just children. Like they're just children.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's interesting. Let me get your take on the change of the combat system. This is no longer a fixed camera game. We're departing that, and now you're over the shoulder third person fighting, kind of like a Dark Souls game. How do you feel about that?
I don't know yet. I have to live it to
Okay.
have. I am a little nervous, but also excited because I'm wondering if there will be I don't know how it's going to change the combat.
Okay.
The combat of God of War has been riveting for me. I mean, it's fun. It can be very challenging and it works.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they changed it up is curious, but I feel like there has to be some purpose behind it. And so I'm willing to try it out. I think it can work. I think as long as it keeps true to a strong storyline, that it can benefit the game.
Yeah. And I think I really feel like it was like a cinematic change, right? More than a gameplay one, because really when you're playing in third person, you have more of an emotional connection to the character, because when the character moves, you're moving with him, right? Whereas in God of the War previous, you have the fixed camera. So it almost looks like you're kind of watching Kratos destroy everything and destroy all these monsters. You're not really a part of it. So I think
I never felt like that though.
No, I do when I play those types of games.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I can see that though. But yeah, I never really felt so much like that. But yeah, I can see it.
So it's interesting. I don't know. From all the preview stuff I've been looking at, it looks like the combat's a lot slower than previous games. The old games kind of embodied what Kratos looked like during the era. He had that bald head with a goatee, kind of like he was a rock metal god wearing leather pants, and now he's
the bodies hit the floor.
Yes, yeah. And now he's old hipster Kratos, a little bit older, a little bit more slowed down. He's thinking about using a shield now and taking it slow. He doesn't want to get hit as much.
He regrets some of those tribal tattoos.
Now I just got this big red tattoo on my face, and
yeah,
playing the acoustic guitar now, so life's going all right.
I still think he looks good. Call me Kratos.
All right, last thing I wanted to ask you about. The game is going open world now.
Yeah, this one is tough. Can I say I don't like
it? You're entitled to your opinion.
I think I'm gonna say that just gut is I don't love the change. But I also don't want to be the person that is like, you go to Twitter someday and they move one thing around. And it's like, I don't like it anymore. I don't understand what they've done here. I'm angry. I don't want to be that person.
It's so 2005. Yeah.
Get with the times. It's interesting. I think that it can be exciting. I feel like certain open world games do an excellent job and they can still be so story driven. And I can't imagine that Santa Monica Studios would let this baby flop.
Yeah. I mean, it is in safe hands. You know what I mean? It's in the most cradling hands you're ever going to see a little Kratos baby in.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I don't like the open world movement in video games, more content doesn't mean better content. I know, like, I'm a big fan of The Witcher 3, but man, did I get sidetracked from that story, and the story just didn't hit me as hard as other RPGs have, because I'm no longer on this, like, it's all right. Here's an analogy. You're either on a roller coaster or you're just walking around the theme park looking at the roller coasters, right? So when you're not in an open world, you are on a set path, and like, this is how the story is going to be driven to you, and they get to kind of play with your emotions. This scene's coming after this one. You're not going to have a really emotional scene and then go walk around for 3 hours doing a quest to go, deliver pasta to someone's friend,
I was just going to say, if these side quests are delivering pasta, I'll quit my life.
I really think that's what God of War really had going for it, is like, you would get driven to all these like great cinematic moments, like one after the other. And like, they really, it's like you're watching a good movie. They're hitting the beats. They're pacing it perfectly for you. And open world, scary.
Yeah. This is just, it's far-fetched, but they've been talking about an actual God of War film. There have been conversations about it though for years. Let me tell you, when I like something, I want to see all of it in every way possible. Yeah. And so God of War is one of those where it's just like every once in a while, just look up God of War film, God of War movie. and they have not brought that out. I almost wonder, now that you're talking about the fact that you're going like the cinematic quality of the previous games, if the games in and of themselves were so complete that making a film would, I mean, I don't think that would prevent them, but I almost wonder if an open world game will allow for a more concise film to be made off of it.
Right. Yeah. And then like a director can come in and like, well, I like the small story you were telling in this quest, and like I'm
And
gonna make a whole 2-hour movie out of it.
And I can expand it in a way that I want, that,
Yeah.
you know, I was just curious. I mean, I've been waiting for that film for a long time. I don't know if it's ever actually going to happen. At this point, I'm just like going to conspiracy theory websites to find content on it. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the reality is that I am extremely excited about this game, obviously, and I'm probably going to enjoy myself unless there are severe flaws with it, regardless.
Yeah.
But I do hope that it is going to give me like goosebumps, like some of the other scenes and some of the other elements of the game have in the past.
I think you're gonna cry. I'm calling, like, I'm betting money that you're getting emotional during this. Like, you love Kratos so much, and now there's gonna be a son involved. There's no way you're keeping those tears in.
Even thinking about my love for Kratos could make me tear up at this very moment.
I'm excited for you. Are you playing it on release day? 420 Blaze it?
You have to go lower in voice when you do that.
420 Blaze it?
Yeah. Yeah, then look away. That's perfect. I am actually stressed out about it because I have so much gaming debt, but I have to go out and get the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to at least start it. I will not be true to myself or my gaming spirit if I do not go out and participate in this manner.
Kratos is your gaming spirit.
He really is.
I'm excited for you. I wish I had a PS4. I know some family members that do. They might be losing their PS4 for a little bit because I don't know how I don't play God of War. Like, I don't know how I make it through without playing that game.
Yeah.
All right. That's going to do it for episode 55 of the Backspace Nomads. Before we take off, some show notes for the very end. This is where you would normally be hearing the good, the bad, the indie. Well, sorry to say, the good, the bad, the indie will no longer be part of the Backspace Nomads podcast. It was a very emotional decision. He was a good friend of ours, but that segment, we don't think it was working out for the best of the show. And we think having segments like we just did with God of War would be more beneficial for our listeners.
Yeah, so let us know what you think. I mean, if you're really going to miss the good, the bad, and the indie, then let us know. But we'd love to hear your opinion on us concentrating on a particular game that's coming out, similar to what we just did. Your feedback helps us, so we'd appreciate any comments.
Yep. And if you want to give us comments, reach out to us on Twitter at Backspace Nomads. If you're on YouTube, you can drop in the comment section. And with that, we're going to take off. If you are watching this on YouTube, make sure to give us a like on it or comment and subscribe to the channel if you like us. If you're listening to this on Apple iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher, subscribing or reviewing the podcast is the best way to help us with discovery, and we really appreciate all your guys' support. We'll see you guys on the next cast, episode 56. Later, Nomads.
Bye.